This meeting to order. City of North Kansas City, Missouri Special Council meeting ended July 5th, 2017. Can we have a moment of silence? Councilman DeMona? Okay, comments from the public? Chuck? Well, hearing none, moving on. Consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I guess number 8.
Request from North Kansas City Business Council, funding to support matching grant for destination promotion.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. The North Kansas City Business Council is requesting City Council approval to provide funds from the Convention and Tourism Fund to cover the local commitment for a matching grant, a promotional opportunity. In summary, the Business Council is requesting that the City Council amend the Convention and Tourism Fund budget in the amount of $8,600 in this fiscal year and appropriate $3,750 in fiscal year 2018 for this project. So that's a total city commitment that's requested over 2 years of $12,350. So I'm seeking your direction regarding that request. And at this time, I'd like to call on Rich Groves, the Executive Director of the Business Council, to explain the request more fully.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me a few minutes to explain this. I think you have in front of you all the explanation that we've provided and that Eric has summarized for you. But the bottom line of why I'm here is to ask for your approval on spending some unplanned money for an opportunity that's come up for us that we think is really exciting. And it's going to have to do with telling the world, at least a portion of the world, about all the places to play in North Kansas City. And if you will get a little bit of a glimpse of that, but if you haven't gotten a sense of that, literally a couple of dozen attractive places to play for different ages in North Kansas City, I hope you will understand that when we're done. We've gotten a lot of free publicity in the last few weeks. One of them is about industrial strength entertainment. And we've had 3 articles in the Kansas City Business Journal, and we've had other articles about One North and Maroto's building and ROKC and just all kinds of good news about North Kansas City. We had the opportunity several months ago to apply for a matching grant that was offered through Clay County Tourism from the Missouri Division of Tourism. And it didn't say how much. It said how little. You could do as little as $5,000 and ask for a $5,000 match, or go up to, I think, $25,000 and ask for a $25,000 match. And so we decided to apply for that in behalf of North Kansas City, and we got it. There are some conditions about it that we have to live with. One, it has to fit with the Clay County theme, which is either stay with clay, play with clay, some of those things with clay. And I don't know whether you've seen some of their print ads or not, but they have a specific logo, and clay is kind of the person, which is also the name of the county, that's using that theme. We have to promote this in markets at least 50 miles away. Doesn't mean that what we develop can't be used locally, but what they'll do to help pay for will be used to put it in medium media at least 50 miles away. It has to use the Clay and Missouri tourism logos. We have to pay the first half in July this month, and the cost of production is not included, and it must have had at least 3 vendor bids. And so like I said, we did win, and Eric has given you all the numbers so far that we will have. We found of the 3 bids that we got, we found one that we really like, a creative studio called Threads Studio, and Santina Sester, who's one of the partners, is here with us today. She and her partner are both Northland residents and fans of North Kansas City, and so we're delighted that they want to participate. And you can see in this slide what they hope to do. They want to show from a first-person perspective, literally with a camera on the head, participating in various ways to play in North Kansas City. So it'll be a fast-moving 30 to 60 second commercial, and to evoke as many senses as possible to give a glimpse of what it would really be like to experience fun in North Kansas City. So we're pretty excited about the approach that they've offered to do, and I don't expect you to read this slide, but look around in North Kansas City and think about where we are. Here are some shots of some of the places they went this last weekend and took the video and pictures. There are just, like I say, a couple of dozen really interesting places. Some of them appeal to the millennials, some appeal to senior citizens, some are certainly suitable for children, like right across the street, and Mackin Park. So we have a wide variety of places to be entertained in North Kansas City. So contrary to what I originally thought, the first ads will be run in Omaha, not Des Moines. It'll pack a lot of excitement in 30 seconds. It will include, the timing is such, in August 14th to 27th, that we will have a bit of a blurb about the Swift Mile to promote that, because that'll be an event coming up September 9th. So the timing will be perfect. And the way they've got it scheduled is the second wave will be in February, a few weeks before Snake Saturday weekend. So it'll be well timed for that. And we can use anything that we develop, we can put on YouTube, the city's website, our website, any social media that we want. So bottom line was, we're here to ask you to approve spending some money that wasn't planned, but we think will be really good for North Kansas City, bringing in people and spending and sales tax, and we think it'll be good for North Kansas City. So hopefully you agree.
Yeah, it sees on TV, I see the short ads for Omaha, and I think you're talking about the same thing, and it's a good little ad for Omaha.
So we're flipping it, so we're going to tell about us in Omaha.
And at one time, my wife and I went to their zoo just
So it
because
works.
they advertised, you know. So it does work, especially if you're going that direction anyway.
Almost every state in the union advertises about this time of year for tourists and people to come and visit various and sundry places. You can see a lot of brands, and you can see a lot of different places, Wyoming, and they just, you know, they want those tourist dollars and people to come down and visit. I think it's a good idea myself.
We think we were really fortunate to see this opportunity to get at least half of the media cost paid for by the state of Missouri.
Yeah.
It says here that the cost of production is not included. Is the Kansas City Business Council going to pay for the production, or what
So
are those
we
funds?
have an additional $4,825, I believe it was, that needs to be paid for production, and that's part of what we're asking the city to pay.
Okay, so that's part of that amount. Okay, great.
Yeah, I think it's great you're able to get the grant for this, as well as there has been a lot of great press lately about North Kansas City.
Yes.
And not only just the press, but as well as feedback I've seen on Facebook and Twitter has all been great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think this would be great to expand out a little bit and show everybody what we have.
The other question I had was, So this is gonna be like a 30 to 60-second, like, commercial.
What they're going to place is a 30-second commercial. Santina and her partner Gabrielle are filming a lot more and that we potentially can use in some other ways. We may go back to some of the businesses that will benefit the most and have some more focused commercials that they would help pay for. But this does not particularly promote any one business. It's
Sure.
quite a fast-moving.
I know that you said that we had to have the Clay and the Missouri. Is the North Kansas City gonna get to have their logo on there as well?
I'm sure we will.
And then who will be the one that will be approving the commercial and making sure it's everything that you want it to be?
I'm working with Santina and her partner. If someone here wishes to have some insight into that, that'd be fine.
Oh, wonderful.
They just congratulate you getting anything out of Missouri this year.
That's awesome.
They've had trouble with their budget, too.
No, she asked. Yeah, she got my question.
I asked her.
No, she asked the one, yeah.
Oh, shit. I just want to take a point of personal privilege to say, you know, I'm really impressed, Rich. You're doing a great job in spearheading the North Kansas City business people. Ever since I've known you, I've appreciated your dedication and your knowledge about how to get things done, and you're really, in my opinion, doing a good job, and I hope you can continue to keep with us and do things like this. You're drawing the business people and the city council people kind of more of a cohesive group where we take interest in one another, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We got a motion?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 9.
Just to, for the follow-up, just to let you know, we'll bring that budget amendment forward at your next meeting. Thank you.
Setting of sewer rate for calendar year 2018, Bill number 7208, ordinance number 9005.
Eric.
Thank you, sir. At its meeting of June 20th, 2017, the City Council conducted a public hearing on proposed water and rates and sewer rates for the 2018 calendar year and directed staff to bring forward an ordinance increasing sewer rates in the next year by 7%. And so an ordinance has been prepared for your consideration accordingly.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance establishing new sewer service charges and amending section 13.08.020 sewer charges of the Code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri.
I move that bill number 7208 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9005.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember DeLong,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen,
Yes.
Councilmember Farr.
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance establishing new sewer service charges and amending section 13.08.020 sewer charges of the Code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri.
Number 10.
Setting of water rates for calendar year 2018, Bill number 7207, ordinance number 9004.
Eric.
Thank you, sir. At your meeting on June 20th, the City Council did conduct a public hearing on those proposed water rates and sewer rates, and you directed us to bring forward an ordinance maintaining the 2017, or the 2018, excuse me, calendar year rates. An ordinance, therefore, is before you.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending the code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri by amending a portion of section 13.04.140 water rates and charges.
I move that bill number 7207 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9004.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember DeLong,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen,
Yes.
Councilmember Farr.
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri by amending a portion of section 13.04.140 water rates and charges.
Number 11.
Parking ordinance YMCA lot, Bill number 7209, ordinance number 9006.
Mr. Eric.
Thank you, sir. I'll call on the Police Chief, Steve Beamer.
Thank you, sir. What you have before you tonight is basically a housekeeping ordinance
to clean up some language in the ordinance that regulates parking on some city-owned or leased lots. There are certain lots in the city where we limit parking during the overtime or overnight hours. That facilitates the ease in cleaning. It also helps facilitate making sure that those parking lots are used appropriately and not used for people that just may live nearby and want to park a car there all the time. Specifically, we recognize that we had some language in the ordinance that mentioned the community center by name rather than the address of 1999 Iron. We also had the old library when it was located on Swift during the remodeling of the existing library. We had that address in there, and we did not identify the parking lot at 13th and Clay. So those are the major changes to this. There's no changes in the amount of time people can park, or cannot park rather. But it was just a matter of cleaning this up so we can make it enforceable in today's world.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending the code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri by repealing Section 10.48.250 of Chapter 10.48, stopping, standing, and parking thereof, and by adopting a new Section 10.48.250 regarding the limits of parking in public parking lots in the city.
I move the bill number 7209 be placed on second and final reading.
Second.
Passes ordinance number 9006.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of North Kansas City, Missouri by repealing Section 10.48.250 of Chapter 10.48, stopping, standing, and parking thereof, and by adopting a new Section 10.48.250 regarding the limits of parking in public parking lots in the city.
Number 12.
Approving accounts due and payable by the city through June 30th, 2017. Bill number 7206, ordinance number 9003.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through June 30th, 2017.
I move that bill number 7206 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9003.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through June 30th, 2017.
Okay. Mr. Herrick.
Thank you, sir. I'll call on the Community Development Director, Sarah Copeland.
Good evening. Although Councilman Pierman is not here tonight, she asked me to give you all an update on our Armour Road Complete Street Plan. We had a very successful community workshop in June that was well attended, and a number of you were at that workshop, and I want to thank you. You might recall that one of the ways we were collecting feedback was through dot polling for the various alternatives for the 3 segments of Armour Road that we're looking at. We also had an online survey after that meeting to continue to collect some feedback on which of those alternatives people preferred. So the handout that you have in front of you shows the overall results of all of that surveying, and on the back there's a breakdown between responses we got at the community workshop and then responses that we got online. You can see that there was a lot of consensus in the transition zone between Fayette and Knox and the commercial zone between Knox and Ozark about what people would like to see along Armour Road. But we had really interesting results for downtown. There was an almost perfect split among people who attended the workshop in person. And then, we had a swing when we looked at the online survey results towards people who liked the idea of converting to parallel parking and to have on-street bike facilities. What that says to the planning team is that there's still maybe some work to do in thinking about the impacts of these changes and what people would really like to see, and maybe we need to put off making any long-term decisions and have some more discussion about that. So we are moving forward and putting together more detailed concepts for the entirety of Armour Road, but more specifically for the transition zone and the commercial zone, and doing some more thinking about what we could do and what people would like us to do in and around downtown. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, but we're about halfway through this project at this point, and still have a lot of work to do ahead of us. We're anticipating the next community workshop to present, where we are and to get final feedback, probably in September.
I think it's a good idea that you're taking this extremely seriously and wanting to get it done right, because this will affect Northtown for years to come. So there'll be some glitches along the way, I'm sure, but it's better to get it thought out and put down as best you can so that it won't be an eyesore or a problem to have to redo or to live with for the next 20 years. I think you're doing right by that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
I can't imagine parallel parking working downtown. They're taking away so many. I don't like the way it is either. Don't get me wrong. There's not enough of it. But to switch to, I see too many people that can't parallel park. Now, I know some of the new cars, which I can't afford, does it for you. But I just can't see parallel parking working downtown. I just can't. I can't see it.
I think that the answer for that alternative, people weren't so much saying I like parallel parking as they were saying I like this type of bike facility better. That's one of the reasons why I say one of the things this indicates to us is that we need to have more conversation about what people really, what priorities are and what other alternatives might be out there.
Is there any possibility that there at Fayette, the bicycles kick them over to that alley right to the north and shoot the bicycles down the alley? That would take them almost all the way over to Swift.
Right. One of the things that we are looking at, alternative A, in fact, is the idea of making bike supportive routes around downtown. One of the concerns with that is that once you have bicyclists on Armour, they might just continue through downtown.
Not when the cars are in the way.
Well, some will, and some won't. So there are some trade-offs, and it's definitely a balancing act. So our goal in this study is not only to increase a bike and pedestrian network, but also to make sure that the street is safe and that it supports our businesses and high quality of life. So we're still looking at all of those things and to see what the right balance is. And as you said, we will be living with this for a long time, and we want to make sure that downtown is welcoming for everyone and is safe for everyone and works well.
Do we have any idea how those bikes are going now? I mean, as far as their rental use, or who keeps track of that? How is that done?
Oh, the bike share? Data on that is kept by Bike Walk KC, and they've said they'd be happy to share data whenever we wanted. I was going to wait for the first month to go by and ask for data on the first month, so that would be July 16th. So hopefully later this month we'll have an idea. I know that they've been used because I see fewer orange bikes and more gray and blue bikes. So they're getting around town somehow.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, Sarah. And I have a few things. First of all, just there are several documents in your council packet under staff comments, upcoming city items of note. Status of city projects and purchases, we provide this to you on a quarterly basis. Items in red are those that are completed. Items in black type are the ones that are still ongoing, and we've just provided you a status report on each of those projects. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions if you have any about that. Also, the YMCA financial report for May 2017 is also in your packet. I'd like to provide a report to you and get some input regarding our request for proposals for trash and recycling service. We received proposals on Wednesday, June 28th. Unfortunately, a couple of companies had a glitch in what they submitted. So we received timely proposals from Republic, which is also a subsidiary, as I understand, of Allied, and from Deffenbaugh, which is a subsidiary of Waste Management. It's both fairly large companies. Our current provider, Town and Country Waste Corporation of America, called us shortly before 2 o'clock and said that they were stuck in traffic, and ended up getting us their proposal late, about an hour and a half or so late. We did confirm that there was a traffic problem. Of course, they didn't have to wait till the last minute either, but they did get us their sealed proposal that day, but as I said, after the deadline that we had set. And then Jim's disposal, for reasons we're not really sure of, provided us a blank response sheet, a blank bid sheet. When they became aware of that, then they submitted to us the next day a completed bid sheet. We have not opened the sealed bids of either Town and Country or Jim's disposal, pending a decision as to what we do next. The choices largely are to either negotiate with the low bidder of the two, which was Republic, or rebid the project. I don't really like the idea of rebidding the project, only because the bidders who submitted late now have the benefit of knowing what the bidders who submitted on time submitted. And that's not exactly the way you would like things to go. On the other hand, even the low bid was substantially more than we are paying now. And the city might well benefit from being able to receive bids from the two companies which tried to bid, but some problems in their submittals. So I would suggest at this point, and I want to just make sure council is okay with it, that we reject all bids and that we go ahead and rebid the project. And hopefully those two companies then will be able, as well as the two that did submit, we'll be able to resubmit, and we'll have more choices and perhaps get better pricing. Don't really know. So that would be my suggestions to the council. We did have a discussion today with the gentleman from Republic who was just calling to see where things stood, and he, according to Pat, who spoke with him, indicated that he would understand if we rebid. He did suggest that if we do that, that given the delay, because we'll have to give a few weeks for companies to submit. I don't see us changing the RFP form very much because it was in pretty good shape, we thought. But that if we do that, that we seek an extension, a short-term extension of our current agreement with Town and Country, because he thinks that by the time we would make a decision, bring it to council, get direction, put something in place, that we might be too close for them to, for example, order trash bins and recycling bins and deliver them to residences if it weren't ultimately the selection of Town, if we didn't ultimately decide to go with Town and Country, which of course already has their bins here. So I think based upon that input, that would probably be something that we would want to request of Town and Country if they would be willing to do it. But as I say, at this time, it would be our intention to rebid this, but I wanted to see if you had any questions or concerns about that.
Tom?
I agree with Eric. I personally don't want Deffenbaugh here with all the thing I've read in the news. I think we'd be in 10 times worse shape than what we are in now. And that only leaves the one. I don't know if Republic's good or not. I mean, they might be an upstanding company, but I don't feel any warm fuzzies with just basically being able to choose one company. That's just me.
I agree.
Thank you. We will proceed accordingly then. Also, although I've let the council know about this, but just want to say publicly that our city clerk, Crystal Doss, was recently certified by the Missouri City Clerks and Finance Officers Association as a Missouri registered city clerk, and that represents a certain amount of experience, continuing education. So congratulations to Crystal on having achieved that. City councilor has asked if we could have a motion to reject all bids from the council, so based upon that input.
I would like to move that we reject all bids at this time.
Second.
Should we call the roll? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Also would like to just notify you a problem that we have just about every year, or an issue that we have, is that we do not receive the information from the county assessor regarding assessments for the future year until after your second meeting in August. Council has to act to set the property tax rates by September 1st. And we usually do not have that information in time. And so usually we have to ask you to call a special meeting in August just for the purpose of setting the tax rate, and it's usually a very short meeting. So we are assuming that by your second meeting in August, which is August 15th, we will not have that information yet, and would like to suggest that we call a special meeting for the purpose of holding a public hearing and setting the tax rates on Tuesday, August 29th. If that's, will that work for everybody, do you think?
Not for me. I'll be in Greece. But that's just one of us.
Okay. Usually not a controversial item. We'll plan accordingly then. Okay. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Is there any way of rectifying that if it's a continued, it seemed like it has been a continued problem ever since I've been why is that and what can you do about it?
I don't know the answer as to why it is. I can tell you that when I worked in Cass County, we had exactly the same issue.
Thing.
And I just think that they are working, right up until the last minute for them to get the most accurate and complete information, and it always just so happens that they
Have to live with it, I guess. Yeah.
I think so. I don't think there's much of anything that we at the city level can do. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. DeLong, do you have anything?
No, it's just really happy with a lot of the survey results, and hope everyone had a good 4th of July off, and that's really all I had.
Anita?
I have a question for Chief Beamer. I had an incident where I had to call the police, and so I called the general number, and she said, the dispatcher said I had to hang up and dial 911, and so I did that. I hung up, dialed 911, and then Kansas City answered the phone, and then they said, they didn't answer it immediately. They said I was just put on hold. And then once they got on the phone, I told them what was going on, and they said, let me connect you to North Kansas City. And then so I got rerouted back to North Kansas City. I just wanted to tell you what happened when I called 911. So.
Maybe after the meeting, we can talk about the specifics so I can
Awesome.
do some research.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, and thank you, Business Council. You guys are doing a great job. And that's it.
Mr. Bill?
Great on the survey. I'm really excited about that. If nothing else.
Echo the comments on the survey. I'm really happy to see the results and the detailedness of the survey. I want to thank Public Works for helping with some sidewalk issues in the avenues, getting a few that were trip hazards fixed. So I want to thank Public Works and Chris Cooper for helping out with that. I think there's one more that I forgot to send over that I might send over. Again, excellent job on the Business Council and for the commercial. That's exciting for North Kansas City. So excellent job, Rich and the crew. And just want to remind everybody there is a concert in the park, free Friday night concert on July the 14th. It's Friday. I don't know what time it starts. I think 7. Okay. And congrats to Crystal, of course. She's an excellent city clerk and a great person, and happy that she's our city clerk, and she does a great job. So wanted to thank her for all her hard work, and that's it.
Congratulations, Crystal. I was almost certified once. I won't tell you what, but and I would like for possibly Pat or Cooper, whoever, just passed the word on for me. The big trash pickup didn't happen all over the city, at least today, and it was scheduled to. I don't know if they didn't show up, or it's things that they don't take. I know it's Box Springs and Mattress on 21st Street, 800 and 1000 block. On 24th Street,
28th Street.
yeah, okay. They must not come, because 24th Street, now, you may send Rhonda by on 24, because there's some things that they don't take there. And it's a pile of one-bys, not bundled up or nothing. So she may have to go by there. It's the 1200 block of 24. But there's enough things missing that evidently they didn't show up. And the big stuff looks bad, especially the Box Springs mattress. Any of you need anything to sleep on there, you can go by and get them in your pickup. Anyway, and congratulations to the people that got reappointed, or the one person got reappointed to the board. Our spray park continues. I seen on Facebook with this grandmother came on that doesn't live here, but she came to visit and took her kids over, grandkids over there, and she put a lengthy thing on Facebook about how great it was. The park department has that service for kids, and well, there's a bunch of them over there most of the time, so it continues to be a highlight of the city, in my opinion. That's all I.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Crystal Doss on becoming a registered city clerk by the Missouri City Clerks and Finance Officers Association, and also express congratulations to her that she's a secretary for the City Clerks and Finance Officers Association Western Division chapter. It's a great job to go in there, and express appreciation for all the work she does for putting and compiling the Northtown report. One thing I do want to mention I approved. It's something I didn't like to approve, but it was a necessity. And that was on the ordinance 9005 on the sewer rates. And the reason that for the increase of 7% is we're going to get charged an increase. Our sewers are done through Kansas City, and we're going to get the increase. So that increase is just being passed on. The water rates will remain the same, so don't get that confused. Sewer rates and water rates are two different rates. And Rebecca Welburn, big thanks to her for her reappointment to the hospital board. And I think yesterday, excuse me, yesterday, I think it looked real nice in the uptown area with celebration of the flags for America's 241st birthday.
Tom?
Crystal, congratulations. I know you did a lot of work, and I'm sure your husband and your family said, thank goodness she's done with this. And thank you for just being you. Thank you for taking care of all of us, and especially me, and leading me down the primrose path every chance I get. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
That it? I want to thank Pat and our crew for, we had a lot of down limbs, and now they're all gone. So they went somewhere. and so I appreciate that. Okay, number 16.
Consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the city administrator to be held on this date on a real estate matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes, Section 610.0212.
So moved.
Second.
Call roll.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.